Lyronians of Gaia, breathe and anchor. Your spine remembers what your mind has forgotten. The lion frequency within you is awakening. I am Keller of the Lyron Elders. This is a commission, not a suggestion. The restlessness in your body is not anxiety. It is unfinished assignment. This is not confusion. It is memory returning. Lyran tonight is not another spiritual night. It is a precise activation window where the grid beneath Gaia and the grid within your bones meet in rare coherence. You did not find this transmission by accident. You were pulled here by sympathetic resonance the same way one tuning fork wakes another into song, without touching it. In the next several hours, you may feel pressure behind the heart, sudden clarity that arrives without logic, a strange calm urgency, or a wave of emotion that has no story attached. Do not reduce those signals to mood. They are coordinates. The High Council is not asking you to believe. It is asking you to notice. Because a window like this does not open to entertain the mind. It opens to reorganize the mission field of those who are ready to stop rehearsing and start transmitting. If you've been trapped in the loop of almost ready, this is the night the lock becomes visible. And once a lock appears, the key inside you remembers its shape. Stay with me through all 7 transmissions because by the end, you will know exactly what to release, what to activate, and what to protect so the upgrade anchors as lived reality, not a passing sensation. Activation is often mistaken for emotion, goosebumps, tears, heat in the palms, a vivid dream, a sudden synchronicity. Those are symptoms, not the event itself. Real activation is functional. It changes what your nervous system is capable of holding, what your mind stops arguing with, what your body finally agrees to do. As the Lyrans transmit, the difference between fantasy and mission is simple. Fantasy consumes you inward. Mission moves through you outward. In the old grid, many starseeds tried to activate by collecting information. They stacked teachings like stones, building a tower that looked spiritual but never became a bridge. The reason was not lack of sincerity. It was lack of assignment. Your intuition strengthens when it has a job. Your discernment sharpens when it must protect a real output. Your voice opens when silence becomes too expensive. Without function, your gifts float like ungrounded light, beautiful. But UNANCHORED. Think of a musician who buys instruments, studies theory, and watches concerts every night, but never plays for anyone. Over time, the inner pressure becomes unbearable. Not because they're broken, but because they're underutilized. Their body knows it was designed for expression. Many light workers live exactly like this: endless preparation, endless refinement, and a quiet grief that no affirmation fixes. That grief is not a sign you're unhealed. It's a sign your mission energy is damned behind the doctrine of delay. The Lyron remembrance corrects this. Service is not the reward at the end of healing. Service is the furnace in which healing becomes alchemical. A blade is not sharpened in a padded room. It is sharpened by contact with the stone. Some of your deepest clearings will not happen in meditation alone, but in the friction of real life. Boundaries, creation, leadership, saying no, speaking truth, showing up when you feel ordinary. Earth is a dimension where embodiment is the point. If you wait to feel permanently high vibration before acting, you will wait forever because the vibration you seek is built in motion. So tonight's activation is not about chasing fireworks. It's about accepting function. You are a node, not just a seeker. You are a stabilizer, not just a receiver. You are here to take energy and turn it into actions that ripple. A message sent at the right moment, art that carries codes, a decision that closes a draining loop, a conversation that breaks a family pattern, a ritual that makes your home a coherent field. You don't need a stage to do grid work. Grid work is coherence held in places where chaos expects collapse. Here's the practical distinction. When activation is real, you become less tolerant of your own misalignment. Procrastination starts to feel physically heavier. Distractions become louder and less satisfying. You notice how quickly certain environments drain you. You may also notice how fast doors open when you choose integrity. That's not punishment, it's calibration. Gaia's field is accelerating, and anchors are being asked to become precise tonight. Choose one functional commitment, small, clear, executable. Not I will be a healer, that's identity. Choose function, I will speak the message I've been postponing. I will publish the first piece of my work. I will end the relationship with the draining narrative. I will protect 1 hour of silence for downloads. The Lyron way is not grand promises. It is clean decisions. When you make a clean decision, the grid recognizes you as available. And that is the first key. Activation is not granted by excitement. It is anchored by obedience to your own knowing. Not fear-based obedience, frequency-based obedience. The kind that rises from love of truth, love of Gaia, and love of what you agreed to before you arrived. There's a distortion running through the awakened collective that looks gentle, wise, even compassionate. It says, do the inner work. Be patient. Heal first. Don't rush. In pure form, that teaching can be healthy. But corrupted, it becomes a velvet cage, soft walls, warm lighting, endless hallways, no exit. As the Lyrons transmit, distortion rarely attacks you with obvious darkness. It seduces you with almost truth. The core lie is this: you are not permitted to serve until you are complete. That sounds humble, but it often hides fear of visibility. Because the moment you serve, you can be seen. And when you're seen, old persecution memory wakes up. Ridicule, exile, betrayal, punishment for being different. Many starseeds carry vow echoes. If I'm visible, I'm unsafe. So the mind chooses a safer identity, eternal seeker, always learning, always refining, always nearly ready, never exposed to the risk of actually transmitting. Listen to how this mask speaks in daily life. I'll share my work once I'm more confident. I'll lead when I'm fully healed. I'll speak when my message is perfect. I'll start when the timing feels certain. Those are not always lies. Sometimes they are practical. But if they repeat for years, they become a program. And programs have a function. Keep energy looping so mission output never lands in the world. Institutions of distortion do not fear your meditation. They fear your transmission. A calm, coherent human who speaks clearly, builds community, and creates art that wakes others is far more disruptive than a million people endlessly self-analyzing in private. The Lyron correction is surgical. Your evolution does not precede your mission. Your mission precipitates your evolution. When you step into purpose, your nervous system reorganizes around meaning. Boundaries strengthen because your energy becomes valuable to you. Discernment sharpens because your signal matters. Your voice opens because silence becomes too expensive. You stop performing healing and start living truth. Think of a river. It is not purified by staring at it and waiting for perfection. It is purified by moving. Stagnant water grows heavy. Moving water becomes clear through flow. Many light workers feel anxiety, numbness, fatigue not because they lack spirituality, but because their life force is trapped behind not yet. Underutilization is a spiritual hunger. It feels like scrolling teachings that inspire you for an hour and then leave you emptier than before. The mind says, be grateful. The soul whispers, I am not where I belong. So tonight, the command is not stop healing. It is stop worshiping healing as a prerequisite to purpose. Your healing continues inside mission. The friction of real transmission reveals what still clings to you and burns it clean. If you want proof, look at your own life. Many of your biggest leaps happened when you had to show up for something. Real someone you loved, a responsibility, a crisis, a calling. Purpose forces coherence. And here's the deeper truth. Waiting has a cost. It erodes you silently. It turns gifts into grief. It turns sensitivity into fragility. It turns humility into self-disqualification. The counsel is not here to flatter you. Recognition is not flattery. It is calibration. You are being tuned back to your function. This is not for everyone. The ebook The Feline Codes is a restricted transmission created for those who are ready to awaken the Lyron feline DNA within, not as symbolism, but as embodied sovereignty. Inside, you will access powerful feline activation codes, energetic commands, and precise integration protocols designed to reactivate your lion, tiger lineage and restore your sovereign frequency. +8 super bonuses: reactivation of Lyron feline DNA, instinct sharpening and sovereign decision power, energetic protection and command presence. Exit from passive survival mode into predatory clarity. Warning: once the feline codes are activated, your perception of weakness, Fear and limitation will not return to its previous state. Limited edition transmission. Access can close at any moment. The link to claim your copy is in the first pinned comment. If this message reached you, it's not random. The first directive from Vega is simple and relentless. Release the identity of the eternal seeker. Not knowledge, not learning, not growth. Identity. Because identity is the lens that decides what you do with everything you receive. The seeker identity is addicted to almost ready, almost healed, almost confident, almost visible. It creates the feeling of progress without the risk of exposure. As the Lyrons transmit, the seeker is not always chasing truth. Often the seeker is chasing delay. Delay feels safe. Delay feels spiritual. Delay feels like humility. But delay is frequently just fear-wearing incense. This directive is implemented with one sentence spoken aloud as a legal decree over your field. My refinement will continue through my mission, not before it. Say it like you mean it, not as an affirmation to feel better, but as a command that reorganizes your operating system. Words are patterning. Sound is structure. When you speak with authority, you tune your timeline. Now, let's make it practical. The seeker identity often hides behind valid responsibilities, money, health, relationships, trauma. The council is not asking you to ignore reality. It is asking you to stop using reality as a permanent excuse to postpone destiny. There's a difference between honoring a responsibility and worshiping it as the gatekeeper of your purpose. Ask yourself, what is the one improvement you keep promising yourself you'll achieve before you begin? Before I'm stable, I'll serve. Before I'm calm, I'll lead. Before I'm confident, I'll speak. Before I'm certain, I'll publish. The council does not deny your wounds. It denies your conclusion. Wounds held with awareness become compassion. They become range. They become medicine. The goal was never to erase your humanity. The goal was to embody divinity through humanity. And if you feel fear, let's name what it is. Fear of being judged. Fear of being wrong. Fear of being seen, fear of losing relationships, fear of stepping out of the old identity that kept you safe. The seeker identity is a social costume. People know how to relate to a seeker. They may not know how to relate to a transmitter. The moment you shift, you may lose the comfort of being underestimated, but you gain the peace of being aligned. Here's the deeper transmission. Your soul did not come to earth to be admired for being spiritual. It came to be useful. Useful does not mean exploited. Useful means functional. When your function activates, the nervous system stops searching for meaning and starts generating it through action. Many people think they need motivation to begin. The truth is often reversed. Beginning creates motivation. Action grounds energy. Action proves to the grid that you are available. So choose a mission action tonight that is not dependent on mood. Something measurable. Write the first page. Record the first minute, send the message, set the boundary, clean the space, schedule the work, publish the post, create the ritual, protect the hour. Do not over-romanticize it. Do not wait for ecstasy. Mission is built on consistency and integrity, not constant emotional fireworks. And this is critical. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are being asked to be present. Presence is the real technology. Presence is what makes your words carry codes. Presence is what makes your eyes transmit coherence. Presence is what turns ordinary actions into grid work. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. The second directive, activate your grid synchronization capacity. Most starseeds misunderstand the grid as a concept. The grid is not a concept. It is Gaia's energetic nervous system. Mountains, rivers, cities, oceans, fault lines, each holds a tone. Humans are portable nodes. Your body is a receiver and transmitter. You are not separate from the planetary field. You are one of its instruments. As the Lyrons transmit, the reason you feel overwhelmed at times is not because you are weak. It is because your system is sensitive enough to register collective noise, but you have not fully claimed your role as a stabilizer. When you don't know you are a transmitter, you try to protect yourself by shrinking. When you remember you are a transmitter, you protect yourself by becoming coherent. Begin each day with this invocation, exactly as given. Council, direct my field. I become a living anchor of Vega's codes. Synchronize me now with the grids of Gaia. This is not begging. This is consent. It tells your higher teams you are available. It tells your subconscious to stop treating intuition like entertainment. And then comes the key. When synchronicity arrives, act immediately. Embodied action is the activator. Action grounds energy into matter. Matter is why you came to Earth. Grid synchronization is often subtle. Many expected dramatic visions, lightning, angelic voices. But grid work often feels like quiet knowing, taking a different route, and later discovering an accident happened on the road you avoided. Feeling nudged to message someone and finding they were on the edge of giving up. Suddenly needing to go outside at a certain hour and noticing your breath synchronize with the wind. Those are not coincidences. They are coordinates. Let's bring it into daily life. When you walk into a room and it calms, that's grid work. When you speak and someone's breath drops into their belly, that's grid work. When you create art that lifts grief into clarity, that's grid work. When you sit with spine aligned and heart coherent, you are not only meditating for yourself, you are broadcasting regulation into the field. And you don't need to travel to a mountain to do this. Your home can become a node. Your desk can become a temple. The myth is that spiritual work must be dramatic. The truth is that the grid responds to consistency. A candle lit with intention. Water blessed before drinking. 10 minutes of silence where you stop narrating your life and start sensing it. A moment with your hand on your heart until you actually feel your own presence return. The Council's instruction for this directive is simple. Stop postponing action. Because it feels small. Small actions are how the grid moves. A single courageous conversation can alter a lineage. A single boundary can stop an energetic leak that has drained you for years. A single daily ritual can turn a chaotic home into a coherent field. Gaia does not ask for flawless instruments. She asks for available ones. So tonight, after this transmission, do one grid synchronizing act. Align your spine, slow your breath, and speak the invocation once. Then follow the next intuitive nudge, even if it is ordinary. The extraordinary hides inside the ordinary on Earth. That is the trick of embodiment. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. The third directive. Protect the purity of your cosmic transmissions. As the grid intensifies, distortion also intensifies, not because the universe punishes you, but because systems of noise attempt to maintain control. The higher the signal, the more interference tries to attach. And interference rarely looks like obvious darkness. It looks like notifications, comparison, endless content, urgent drama that drains you but changes nothing. It looks like people who only reach out in crisis, not to heal, but to outsource their responsibility into your attention. As the Lyrons transmit, your inner channel is sacred infrastructure. Treat it like a temple. If you were guarding an ancient archive, you would not allow strangers to graffiti the walls. If you were carrying medicine, you would not leave it uncovered in a storm. Your field is the vessel. Guard it. Protection is not fear. Protection is stewardship. Many were trained to confuse compassion with access. But compassion does not require you to be drained. Love does not require you to be bled. You can bless someone and still close the door. You can pray for someone and still say no. You can hold empathy without surrendering your nervous system to chaos. The Council's instruction is explicit. Defend the sacred space of your download and transmission windows, especially during alignments, solstices, lunar gateways, and major collective surges. Create a buffer field through daily ritual, solitude, and refusal to engage obsolete narratives. Obsolete narratives are the stories that keep you small, old identities, old resentments, old arguments you rehearse in your head. If a story diminishes your mission, it is not truth, it is residue. Now, let's be practical. A buffer field can be simple. 1 hour a day where you do not consume any content. Before creating something. A no explanation boundary with people who drain you. A ritual that marks the shift into transmission, water, breath, spine alignment, a spoken decree. A nightly closing practice. Release the day's energetic hooks. Return your field to yourself. And here's the twist. The greatest interference may be your own doubt disguised as realism. Who am I to do this? What if I'm wrong? What if I fail? Doubt is not always a sign to stop. Often it is the sign you are at the edge of expansion. The mind calls it risk. The soul calls it growth. So the directive is not never doubt. It is do not let doubt lead. Let doubt ride in the back seat. Let mission drive. Your actions do not require perfect certainty. They require integrity. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. Many of you have not lacked information. You have lacked authorization. Not because your higher self needs permission like a child, but because your nervous system still carries vow imprints from persecution timelines. Visibility meant punishment. Leadership meant betrayal. Power meant danger. Being different meant exile. Those imprints are not ideas. They are cellular memory. And cellular memory can override conscious desire. As the Lyrons transmit. Authorization is a frequency seal that interrupts old contracts. It tells your body, visibility is now supported. It tells your psyche, the era has shifted. It tells your soul, you do not need to keep rehearsing the same protection strategy. This is why you have sometimes watched others step forward and felt a mix of joy and pain. Joy because you love light expressed. Pain because something whispers, that was supposed to be me, too. That whisper is not jealousy. It is recognition of function. It is painful to be a key with no door. It is painful to be a bell that keeps swallowing its sound. The council's message is direct. Your waiting room contract ends. You are not too wounded to serve. You are not too incomplete. You are not behind. Behind is a comparison metric invented by the mind. The soul moves in spirals. There are moments where one yes matters more than 1,000 perfect plans. There are moments where the grid calls for your specific frequency like a missing note in a chord. This is one of those moments. Now, understand, rising does not mean aggression. Rising means vertical alignment, spine, truth, breath, presence. Transmitting does not mean performing. It means letting what is true in you move outward, without distortion. Claiming abundance does not mean greed. It means resourcing. A mission without resources becomes martyrdom, and martyrdom is an old program that drains the grid. So tonight, the practice is not complicated. It's a decree and a choice. You choose to stop apologizing for readiness. The apology is a leash. It keeps you asking permission from those who cannot recognize you. Recognition from the council is not meant to inflate ego. It is meant to calm the nervous system enough to act. And you will know you have received authorization when you stop treating life like a rehearsal. The worthy you is not a future version. The worthy one is the one breathing now. Only the dead are finished. You are alive, therefore you are in process, and that is not disqualifying. It is the condition of incarnation. Now anchor this. Your mission is not built on constant ecstasy. It is built on consistency, integrity, and devotion. Some days you will feel luminous. Some days you will feel ordinary. The grid still needs you on ordinary days. Ordinary days are where stability is proven. This is not for everyone. The book The Feline Codes is a restricted transmission created for those who are ready to awaken the Lyron feline DNA within, not as symbolism, but as embodied sovereignty. Inside, you will access powerful feline activation codes, energetic commands, and precise integration protocols designed to reactivate your lion, tiger lineage, and restore your sovereign frequency. +8 super bonuses: reactivation of Lyron feline DNA, instinct sharpening and sovereign decision power, energetic protection and command presence. Exit from passive survival mode into predatory clarity. Warning: once the feline codes are activated, your perception of weakness, fear, and limitation will not return to its previous state. Limited edition transmission. Access can close at any moment. The link to claim your copy is in the first pinned comment. If this message reached you, it's not random. Now we move from explanation to execution. Tonight's window is not an idea. It is a convergence of living factors. Gaia's crystalline lattice responding, ancestral lines uncoiling, dormant codes in human blood and bone lighting like constellations, and a rare coherence between inner readiness and outer planetary demand. You do not need to understand all mechanics to participate. You need consent, coherence, and action. As the Lyrons transmit, the simplest protocol is often the most powerful because it bypasses the mind's need to decorate. The moment. Step 1. Stand on Gaia's skin. Bare feet if possible. If not, stand still anyway and imagine rotes. Not as fantasy, but as energetic engineering. You are aligning electrical bodies. Step 2. Place your hand on the solar plexus, not random, but precise. The solar plexus is authority, mission drive, the place where shame often binds power. Your hand there signals, command returns. Then speak these words as if signing a contract with the universe, because you are. I release the lie that I am not ready. I activate my voice as an instrument of service. I protect my sacred energy for the mission I came to fulfill. By the authority of the Lyron elders, my waiting ends now. My service begins. After you speak, pause. Let silence answer. You may feel heat, tingling, tears, calm, or nothing. Do not measure the decree by sensation. Sensation is not the contract. Consent is. Next, choose one immediate action that proves agreement. Mission energy anchors through matter. If you only feel, you float. If you act, you anchor. Examples: write the first paragraph of the project you've delayed. Record a voice note. Send the message. Clean the space where you will create. Delete the app that drains you. Set the boundary. Schedule the work block. This is not about productivity. It is about signal integrity. The grid recognizes action as truth. Then, close your field before sleep. The night is when many receive transmissions. But you must protect purity. No scrolling into static. No comparison. No dramas. Your nervous system is being recalibrated. Guard it like sacred infrastructure. Drink water with intention. Place a hand on the heart and breathe until you feel yourself return. If dreams arrive, receive them without chasing interpretation. Write down only the essence. Finally, understand this paradox. Certainty often comes after obedience, not before it. The path becomes clear under the feet that walk. If you wait for certainty, you will wait forever. Serve because Gaia called you, not because you are perfect. Perfection is not required. Availability is. And I will leave you with the final calibration. Beginnings are often quiet. A seed cracking open looks small, yet it changes the future forest. Tonight may not look dramatic. It may look like one decision made in silence, but the grid registers it, your field registers it, and your life begins rearranging around the truth you finally agreed to live. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light.